Welcome to the third edition of the. Me, as always, is Ted Sellers.
What's up, Chris?
How's it going, Ted?
This episode.
What's that now?
I am pumped for this episode.
Good. I can hear the excitement in your voice. We're going to be covering Batman Begins, which is Christopher Nolan's third, studio film. And with us, we have a very special guest. I'm very excited. Kirk Minahan was trying to get Bruce Springsteen on the KMS show. We didn't quite do that, but we do have the Warthog here. Warthog, hello.
Hello, Chris. Hello, Ted.
The most electrifying man in the Kirk Minahan world. Thank you for joining us, Warthog. It is an absolute honor to be in your presence.
Is it Mr. Hogg? Can I call you Wart? I mean, what are we doing here?
Oh, you can call me whatever you want. Just don't call me late for supper.
Ooh.
Okay.
Is it steamy in here? I need a drink after that one. Wow. How's Mrs. Warthog?
Yes, that's a good question.
She's doing well.
Good. Okay. Warthog, I gotta ask you, and we can I gotta ask you because I think you have kind of a unique place in this world, and Kirk is trying like hell to get Bruce Springsteen on Kirk Minahan show. What would you do? Because I think you can really rally the troops like no one else. But what would you do to get Bruce Springsteen on Kirk Minahan show? What do you suggest we do, or what would you suggest?
Well, if I've learned anything from Blind Mike, it said if you just relentlessly go after it, eventually they'll cave.
Okay, so just keep going after Bruce Springsteen, and that will get him on this show.
Just keep pestering him until he.
Is that how you got Mrs. Warthog?
She did more of the work than I did. If we're being
I'll tell you what we shouldn't do, and that's send him a Mamma Mia's pizza.
Why, Warthog? Why have you not sent a pizza over? Because Chris complained about that in the show. Why have you never sent a Mamma Mia's pizza to the studio?
The only reason I haven't done it yet, and the reason I haven't done it is just because I don't know how well it's going to travel. And if you want to make an impression, you obviously want you put your best foot forward, and otherwise it's just going to leave a bad taste in your mouth.
Okay. So there was some back and forth right before we went on air where Brandy Love, the porn star, said that she didn't like Bruce Springsteen. I don't know if you guys saw that, and Kirk was upset about it. I guess that maybe would go around the room. Who do you guys like better, Brandy Love or Bruce Springsteen? Ted, we can start with you.
I'm a Bruce Springsteen guy. I mean, my dad, played his music. He's the other biggest fan I know, as well as Kirk. So I've just been surrounded by that music my whole life. So I'm a Bruce guy through and through.
Warthog, you strike me as a Brandy Love person. Am I wrong?
I do prefer her politics, but I would say I enjoy the body of Springsteen's work more.
That's number one on the list, the politics.
First thing I think of. So yeah, I also would go with Springsteen as well. Okay, so it's a clean sweep there. We all agree. Three great minds there. Warthog, before we get to the movie, which I know we're going to talk about Batman Begins here, you fascinate me, like really nobody else in this world. So what is the average day of Warthog like? You get up in the morning, like then just kind of walk me through the average day.
Get up, I go to work, make pizza, do some pizza prep. Then I come home, either read or watch Cheers. It's generally the substance of my day.
Unreal. So I have to say, this is the kind of show that we're putting on here. So last week, we had to put a 100-word count on John from Scranton, and he failed. But he did well, but he failed, just to get him to not talk the entire time. This week, I will be shocked if you hit 50 words. And your day of basically being a house cat that also makes pizza sometimes is insane and only adds to that.
Were you upset when Mike said that the only pizza, like the pizza was decent, when he called your pizza decent on air? Were you upset about that?
No, because he texted me like after the show and he said, "Would you say that's a fair, judgment of it?" And I said, "Yeah, that's fair." I don't think either of us realized just how much that would grow what he said. But my favorite was the day after, or not the day, after the Mamma Mia title episode. I just got a text from Mike and it just says, "I'm sorry for what happened."
You know what? You know what a great man.
Do you get
once
that
said,
text a lot?
Not as often. Well, obviously not as often as I used to. But
Sorry, Ted. What was that question?
You know what a great
every
man
while I
once
would
said?
get what's that, Ted?
It is what it is.
Those are words to live by.
I agree. Let's get into Batman Begins. Warthog, what we make our guests do on the show is they must give a synopsis of the film. So if you could just, maybe kind of explain Batman Begins to someone who hasn't seen it.
So it's the origin story for Batman from his from his from his childhood as the children of millionaires, and what led him to want to protect the citizens of Gotham, his training, and how he saves them.
I will say that you could write for Chris's movie blog.
I think so too. I think so too. If I ever can't make it some week, I mean, with breaking it down like that, that's tough to compete with. Ted, do you like this movie?
I did. I really like this movie. Obviously, we all know, and we'll get to the next one down the road. That's the one in the trilogy that steals all the attention. But for an origin story that everybody knew was going to be part of a trilogy, this one was really, really well done. I never felt like the exposition dragged at any point. Even the parts where he's in training, they all have a purpose and they drop back to it. So I thought overall it was a really well done movie. How about you?
Yeah, I think this movie is great. This movie doesn't get, like you said, the attention it deserves because Dark Knight kind of steals its thunder. And I don't think it's forgotten about, but it doesn't get talked about enough. I mean, this is a brilliant film, especially for a superhero movie. And for an origin movie, which is kind of tough sledding because you always know kind of the story. So audiences kind of go in with expectations or, a certain awareness of what's going to happen. So it takes a lot of the suspense away. But this movie still manages to deliver. It's brilliantly cast. It's directed beautifully. And along with the 1978 Superman, easily my favorite superhero origin movies and probably my third favorite superhero movie, period. Warthog, where do you kind of land with this movie?
So out of the Batman trilogy, the Christopher Nolan Batman trilogy, this was the last one I saw. I wasn't really into it when they came out, but I had a roommate
start with the last one, or what was the thought process here? Were you like, you know what? Let me jump to the end and then I'll work back.
I want to watch Batman Begins.
Yeah. Like if you can't even watch it by accident, like it's the first one. It says it in the title.
So all right. So I had seen The Dark Knight first. That was how I got introduced into the Nolan world, and then I saw The Dark Knight Rises in theaters, and then it was after that when it was on TV, I watched Batman Begins for the first time, and this was the second time I had watched it.
Do you like it?
I enjoyed it. There were some parts that I was just asking, I was asking myself a lot of questions, like why is this happening the way it is?
So let's get right into it then. My new Mayo Award for this episode is going to be the Warthog watching Batman Begins. So the Warthog, what we do each episode is we give away 3 awards. The first being the Mayo Award for the character who asked the most questions. So at first, I was going to do Rachel as being that person. But now I'm going to go with you. So what kind of questions are you asking yourself as you're watching?
It's a pretty complicated film.
Begins? Is it like, I wonder what this Scarecrow character's up to?
So, one of my questions that I was asking was, I was thinking as I was watching, but is really my own fault. Being unprepared. But it was.
This is great.
Christ,
Whatever
now I'm drawing a
this is brilliant.
So I'm gonna go Freud, Socrates, the Warthog as my great thinkers in history. They really asked the profound questions.
Can you think of one question you had watching the Warthog? Just one.
Oh, good Christ! Why? I really fucked myself on this one, didn't I?
Not at all. Just to say, before you got on, you said you have notes with you.
I do. Well, it was answers to the question.
Oh, okay. To the question. So who would you? I guess who would you give the question award to then?
I had it given to Rachel because she was really the only one in the movie who was asking any questions. Everyone else was just accepting what was happening.
Can we talk real quick about the fact that Katie Holmes willingly turned down The Dark Knight?
I don't agree with that assessment of what happened, Ted. I think she got pushed out.
There was someone involved.
Do you really think it was like a full push out though?
Yeah, they didn't want.
I mean, she stunk in this movie.
It wasn't just that. Remember after this is like right around when the Tom Cruise stuff hit, and Nolan thought it would be a distraction, and he kind of. My understanding is reading the rumors and stuff is that she was kind of basically told not to come back, and they made it seem. And then she wrote and they made it seem like, oh, she chose to step away. But like, why would you? It doesn't make any sense. So my understanding is that was she was basically let go.
Well, I mean, there was a significant upgrade acting-wise going from her to Maggie Gyllenhaal. I didn't think Katie Holmes was very good for that role. And this might sound terrible, but I don't picture her as being like this hard-hitting attorney.
Yeah, it didn't work. And I think they saw that too, and they were like, all right, between the distraction of Tom Cruise, the fact that she was the weak link in this movie, which if you look at this cast, it's stacked. I mean, you have 7 Academy Award nominated actors in it, 5 wins between them, 21 nominations between them. This is an amazingly stellar cast, and she sticks out like a sore thumb.
My favorite funny moment in the movie is when she is about to get mugged and Batman saves the day, and she like kind of taps the guy on the shoulder and then turns around to deal with the person in front of her and just assumes that she took out that guy behind her.
Yes.
Like there's no way that would have affected him at all for her to be like all like cocky about it.
Yeah, that's not a great role there, or not a good casting choice. There's really the only casting miss in this movie because everyone else in this movie is fantastic. Do you agree, Warthog? Is anyone maybe you seem to have some more problems with the film than Ted Ryder? Anything you didn't like about the movie casting wise?
No, in terms of casting, I thought it was just almost pitch perfect. From Gary Oldman to Morgan Freeman with Christian Bale, even Linus Roach. I enjoyed him.
He was good too. Yeah, small part. Yeah. I guess maybe can we go to let's go to another award here. Which character would be the best third chair? So who would be the best person on the Kirk Minahan show? Warthog, we can start with you.
I went with Alfred because he knows not to get in the way, but he will stand up to, in this instance, Batman or Kirk Minahan.
Good answer. I agree. I also said Alfred. Me and you so far in lockstep, Warthog, which troubles me greatly. Ted, who do you have as the third chair?
Alfred would probably be my pick as well, but I would love the him and Steve dynamic on the show. I feel like there could be a lot of interesting, weird conversation between those two, and more of just Alfred reacting to things that Steve said. I think they could bounce well off each other. And not to mention, I'm sure Alfred enjoys fine wine just like Steve does, varieties that go up to $35.
I think you're right. Would the conversations be any stranger between Steve and Alfred than Steve and the Warthog?
Well, one person would talk back, in this situation. So.
Right. So. Let's get into the Red Award for the biggest CUNT. Who is the worst person in this movie? Ted, we'll start with you.
So the easy answer, I think, would be Liam Neeson. But I'm going to go with the Scarecrow. I forget the name that is his actual name in it.
Jonathan Crane,
just
or
because,
the actor.
Yeah, just because he wants to be like the real villain and embrace it, but the whole time it's really Liam Neeson that's lurking in the shadows that is the true villain. That we don't know until the end when we get like the big reveal that he's actually, Ra's al Ghul, and the other guy was just like the decoy that he thought he killed earlier.
How about you, Warthog? Who is the worst person in this movie?
That's Commissioner. So my issue with him that
who is it that you broke up there? Who is the worst person?
I'm sorry, Commissioner Loeb.
Police
commissioner, obviously. So I went with him because here you have a man who's helping you. He's giving you God, why am I fucking blanking on it? Not Falcone. Was it Falcone?
Yes, Carmine Falcone. Yes.
Okay. He was okay. He's handing you to him, tied to a searchlight, and you're angry at him. I don't understand it. If anything, you deputize him, then he's working for you.
Is that what you would do at Mamma Mia's? If someone came in and maybe was helping out with the pizza, you would, allow them to make all the pizza they want, assuming they didn't need to take a salary or something?
Yeah, it makes my day easier.
Do you think that there needs to be police reform in Gotham? And also, who would you vote for?
I think that the Gotham City PD have gotten a little loose with their.
Who has it worse, Portland or Gotham?
I'm gonna go with Portland. At least Gotham has all their criminals confined into a single island that they can raise the bridges. Portland, that's all land.
That's very true. Yes, I would go there. A lot of land in Portland.
A lot of land in Portland. I mean, it is what it is.
That's how I would describe this episode. I would give the Red Award to Carmine Falcone, the heartless gangster. He's a pretty terrible person all around. Really, just kind of even like shitty to Bruce when he walks into the bar. I'm just really down on Carmine Falcone. I think he's a lousy guy. Great actor though. Tom Wilkinson's fantastic in that role. What aged the worst? Anything in this movie aged badly for you? Warthog, start with you.
So the only answer that I could really come up with was, and this isn't even something that like I strongly feel like I have a strong feeling about, was Liam Neeson, but only because I could, like, when I was watching it, the only thing I could think of was the story that came out like last year when he was doing like the press for Cold Pursuit, talking about how like after like a friend of his was sexually assaulted, like he wanted to just beat up like a black person, and so that was the only like. So like there was a bit on Cumtown about this, and that was the only thing I could think of whenever like I was listening to him in the movie. That was like the only thing I could really key in on. It's completely unfair to him. He's a phenomenal actor.
So the whole time that he's like Ra's al Ghul in this movie, you're just thinking of Cumtown when he said that he wanted to beat up a black person.
That is correct.
I can see why you had a notebook full of questions watching this movie.
So the guys in Schindler's List taking.
I know.
The Star Wars movies. I mean, the first one. He's a pretty big star, known for a lot of things. But the one thing that you couldn't get past was this one article from last year, and no one else remembers.
It must be really hard for you to watch like Transformers with Mark Wahlberg in it. Just knowing his past.
Yeah, he's apologized for it. It's fine.
He gets the break.
Dude, is this what you talk to like when you're? I'm trying to imagine your world. We're talking. I imagine you like making the pizza, throwing it in the air, getting it ready. Is this what you're talking to your coworkers about? Like, Liam Neeson's race relations or things like, or like, what's the average conversation like about? You said some people can't speak English there, right?
The Brazilians who speak Portuguese. So with them, it's more of simple English, but you talk about a lot of sports, a lot of a lot of movie stuff.
Not complicated English like you provide, right? Just simple English.
Correct.
Okay. Let's get into the Ted's favorite question, which is our last category. Which character would you want to switch places with?
I think I'll take this one. So we haven't given this award away yet because every time we find like a major flaw with either the characters or the setting that they have to live in, such as last week where we don't pick a character in it to actually switch places with. Well, I'm going to break the streak this week. Okay, I'm 4'2", about 120 pounds. I have the body of like a overweight, fat, like house cat. Similar to how the Warthog has a lifestyle that fits that. So let's just talk upgrade. I mean, Christian Bale, very handsome guy, jacked, playboy billionaire, has instead of a wheelchair, a Batmobile that can just like blow things apart, drives Lamborghinis on the side. Yeah, I think I'm going to switch places this time. So for the first time ever, the Freaky Friday award goes to Christian Bale's Batman.
Ted, I would also switch places with Batman. Who wouldn't want to be Batman? That sounds incredible. Warthog, would you switch places with anybody in this film? If so, who?
So I chose Lucius Fox. Now I went with him because you get all the fun of Batman, but none of the danger.
So you just want to be around Batman and like giving him tech advice?
Correct. Like I said, you're not out there fighting any crime. You're safe in your safe in Wayne Enterprise Industries.
You'd rather be a 65-year-old man than Batman? Is that what
you know what? I'm shocked that he didn't pick Alfred. I just want to bring tea and green smoothies to Batman when he wakes up. And
it's always nice to feel wanted. As a butler.
Why would you want to be this old man? That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard in my life.
So was that opinion made solely based on this movie or where the story goes later? Not that it makes it much better, but
I was just thinking in the context of this movie.
I don't think you were thinking at all.
I mean, he might have the most minimal role in this movie of the three.
So stupid.
Chris, how about you? You picked Batman?
Well, it's a tough call. It's either that or the homeless guy, but I'm going to go with Batman, I think. It seems to make a little bit more sense.
You know what? I'm going to go with I'm going to go with Street Mugger number 2.
That was almost Joe Chill, the guy that shoots Bruce Wayne's parents, was almost my choice for the Red Award. But he did say he was sorry at the end. I don't think Red would do that, so I decided to go a different direction there.
Yeah, no, he would just fire up some tweet about it.
Justin, can you jump in here? Justin, who would pick Lucius Fox as well?
I would.
Why?
Because Batman doesn't know how to. He has no relationships with anyone. In the later movies, he can't walk. He beats the shit out of his body. He can't.
Whoa! We're just gonna poo-poo Batman for not walking?
Yeah, I mean, he has trouble walking later on in his life. I mean, he beats the shit out of himself. I think Lucius Fox is he's a rich dude that's guaranteed a job at Wayne Corp Enterprises.
He's literally Batman's intern.
15 years. You'll be dead. You have like 20 years.
Intern.
Yeah, but like Lucius Fox, I don't know. Like he probably has a family. Bruce Wayne doesn't have a family.
Bruce Wayne ends up with Anne Hathaway, and he's having a tea in France at the end of this thing. It couldn't be better for him how this thing ends for him.
Not true.
All right, thank you.
His parents are dead.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna slice that audio.
I'm guessing Lucius Fox's parents are dead too. They're fucking 1,000 years old.
I'm just gonna splice that clip up and just use it as blackmail against Justin.
His parents are dead. Guess what? You didn't old enough. All of our parents are gonna be dead. My father's dead. I'm be the same boat in 20 years, I'm sure. Lucius Fox. You know how old Lucius Fox's parents would be?
It's really not that surprising that he would pick Batman's intern, though, if he was gonna trade places in the comic book universe. It kind of makes sense. I mean, he's his behind-the-scenes guy.
All right. I think that anything else you guys want to add about this movie? I think we've really done a great job here covering it.
It is going to be my highest-rated Christopher Nolan movie.
Oh, what do you give it?
I'm going to give this one an 87.
91.
91.
Woohoo! Coming in hot. This is a really great movie. I really do love this movie. And even though Warthog's bizarre take on it, I don't love it any less.
Warthog, what is your score for it, and how many points did it get deducted because Liam Neeson once said that he wanted to punch a black guy in the face?
I'm gonna give it a 90. It was a very solid movie. Christopher Nolan's a fine director and screenplay writer.
If you could rewrite the tagline for the movie, what would it be? Let's say you could just make it into, like, if it was a high school yearbook quote, just one line. Batman Begins. :
the beginning of Batman.
I think that's a perfect. Yeah, it is the movie though you did see last. So for you, it was the ending of Batman.
No, it would be the prequel that came after.
Warthog, thank you so much for joining us. We won't be back next week because of the election. So we'll be back in 2 weeks with, I believe, someone with the last name Minahan to talk about The Prestige. But until then, thank you, Warthog. Ted, any final words?
No, I'm just laughing at the fact of the Warthog watching it being like, now why is he climbing this mountain? He was in a city.
Why isn't Lucius Fox getting more respect? Thank you guys.
Right.
And
that's my question.
That's right. Enjoy Mamma Mia's pizza. Have a great night, guys.